When a headline comes out about a Muslim community, it's usually completely different if it was where a different race. It's a lot more aggressive. Like,
this is two headlines of the same newspaper. One side says ISIS manic kills 50 in gay club, and the other side says angelic boy who grew into an evil far-right mass killer.
Why is there a baby picture next to a mass killer? A mass murderer who killed 49 people? He's got a baby picture?
It's kind of wild. Where did they get that picture of him like taking a selfie?
It's almost like, oh, he's happy that he did it,
Right,
versus
exactly
this little kid who's like sad as hell.
He's like,
oh man.
In the first one it says 50 in like huge bold letters, but then the second one it says 49 in like the smallest thing. Like I have to squint.
There's a big number 50 here, and honestly, when I first read this title, I didn't even see the bottom. 49 murdered by Aussie 20. I didn't even see that.
It's a maniac versus a boy, so that's already dehumanizing like a person of color, and they do this with all minorities, all BIPOC. It also says a lot that he grew into an evil far right. Like he wasn't always like this, but the Muslim guy, he was always like this because he was always Muslim.
What they both did was wrong. No one is disputing that, but one is not more evil than the other simply because the color of his skin or his faith. They're both emphatically wrong.
This just exemplifies how Muslimness is constantly looked at as something that is cancerous or something in someone that makes them automatically synonymous with barbaric behavior or evil.
Like the media has a big role to play when it comes down to any massacres like this, because they need to have a narrative in which it sets for not only themselves but also their audience.
And it feeds into people's minds where it leads to the hate crimes, it leads to targeting people, it leads to all these things.
Because they know that the negative is what's going to get clicks, they know the negative is what's going to attract people to watch, they know the negative is what's going to get people to actually like read the article, because people don't care to learn about the positive. At least that's what they think. And the amount of, damage it's doing to the Muslim communities is so serious, and it's something that these media outlets, they don't care for.
Suspect in deadly attack on Muslim family has no known ties to hate groups.
I'm just dying at the photo they used though, because it's like
yeah, they make him look like a normal boy.
Bro, it's like he's a track star.
But no, it says suspect in deadly attack. First of all, you're not the suspect. You're clearly the perpetrator. You're clearly the person who did it.
This man literally ran over a family, bro. Like there's a 9-year-old, did you hear about this? There's a 9-year-old kid in the hospital, bro. And they got this photo of this dude that looks like he's from like a Friends cast. Like this is crazy, bro.
He left this poor 9-year-old boy all by himself. He has to wake up from his coma in the hospital to realize that not only his sister died, his mom, his dad, and his grandma.
And there's a really dangerous aspect here where media wants to kind of like reduce the meaning behind white violence, because it's like, let's just like whitewash it, because like we don't want people to see the white community as people who are capable of doing something like this.
The same issues keep happening over and over again, but just different communities, different cultures, and it's not being viewed by the public the same way.
Just because someone doesn't have a tie to a hate group doesn't mean that they themselves aren't hateful.
His crime was strictly based on hate and misinformation, misguided knowledge, and entirely aimed at Muslims. It didn't matter who that family was, they just happened to be there, and Allah yarham him.
Oh, what? No, seriously, this is like a what the fuck. I didn't even see this. Ilhan Omar, 9/11 was some people did something. Here's your something. 79 people dead by terrorism. How many people died in one day during the pandemic? And what did President Trump do about that? Let me see those numbers right now. Because I'm tired of this thing where we go back to 9/11 as a measurement of how something horrific can be. Sorry, that's just fucking annoying. And the fact that they always attack Ilhan Omar or Rashida Tlaib goes to show how Islamophobic the New York Post is.
2,000 dead by terrorism? Okay, well, if you want to talk about terrorism in numbers, let's talk about Iran, Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria, Yemen. We can keep going for days. Let's talk about Palestine. You want to talk about numbers? We can talk about numbers.
When she said that, they literally just took that one part and they were like, okay, here's your something. That entire thing was out of context.
I never heard it.
You completely just took her words, twisted it, and made it perfect for you to use as a headline just because you wanted to use some type of propaganda thing to get more people to take your newspaper.
She probably had an extremely long speech and they took 4 words out of that.
It's so general, it leaves you with so many questions.
Last time I checked, Muslims also died on 9/11. Muslims also sacrificed their lives to join the US military because they were disgusted to see what happens on 9/11.
I want to pick the right words. That Muslims don't feel upset about what happened on 9/11. Of course we do. There was a loss of life. And everybody who passed away, everyone who perished, from police officers to civilians to firemen, everyone else fighting that issue, we are also American citizens. We felt that pain. I was young. I was too young to feel it, but I felt the aftermath. My parents felt the aftermath. And not because of terrorism, but because we were viewed and portrayed as terrorists without having any context to it. That I was 8, 9, 10, 11, whatever age it was, but the fact of the matter is that everybody's looking at me because my name is Muhammad Ameer as a terrorist right off the bat. That young children have a misrepresentation of who I am because of what their parents are preaching, because of what they're reading and seeing in the news. And to be posting about something like this for the sheer purpose of bringing down Muslimin, or for the sheer purpose of bringing down one representative, is doing injustice and ill will towards all those people who died.
The Daily Telegraph wrote, Allah Akbar. 5 Aussie.
What does it say? Allah Akbar? Allah Akbar?
What's Allah Akbar? Oh, Allahu Akbar.
Oh, I see. Oh, I see. Bro, it's the Muslim in me. I can't read that like normal. That's mad weird, you know what I mean?
That's really rubbing off the wrong way.
It doesn't even bring up Islam
because
into this.
I don't see nobody bringing a verse from the Bible or whatever the case may be.
I feel like at this point, like their only way to get like bigger and bigger is to like target Islamic things. Yeah. Because like most of the people nowadays, there's so much hate towards us and like hate towards Islam that these titles just attract people, you know?
I think it says a lot when media weaponizes sacred words, because if a Muslim is going about their everyday life and they say Allahu Akbar, all they're gonna know is something that's violent that's attached to it, when it literally means God is the greatest.
The fact that like we say Allahu Akbar multiple times a day, and then we have to see it perceived in a way that incites violence is super damaging to the way that Muslims see themselves.
And as much as the community tries to protect themselves and say, watch what you say, watch how you act, watch who you're around, maybe not speak your native language, like for me it's Arabic in a public area. Maybe watch saying mashallah or alhamdulillah in certain areas, like if you're going on a flight or if you're traveling. And it's honestly sad that people can't be so inclusive of something so little as faith.
Seeing people that look like us and who practice the same faith as us experience that violence has a really, really detrimental effect on mental health. I don't think we often think about this, but like when we're sharing pictures of Muslims or like videos of Muslims experiencing violence, I know that it has to have an effect on us. And I understand that it comes from a place of raising awareness, but I don't think we often think about the long-term effects it's going to have on us.
I think that violence has kind of, in an unfortunate way, the violence has brought the Muslim community together, because it feels like we need to unite to stop the pain that our community is going through. And I feel like although it's this horrible thing, we can also find the beauty in it, because it's like there's so many bad going around in the world, but it shows that there's so much hope in our community, because our community is so powerful and we're so strong together. And so when we unite, genuinely, we make so much good change in the world.